My girlfriend lying about who she is out with. How to confront her. Love, they say, is like a roller coaster, thrilling, with its highs and lows. But no one warns you about the heart-stopping moments when the ride takes a sudden, gut-wrenching plunge. That's where I found myself, stuck in a whirlwind of doubt, when I discovered my girlfriend, Taylor, was hiding things from me. My name is Alex, and for over 2 years, Taylor and I had shared a life together. A life that seemed so perfect until cracks started to appear, tiny fissures that grew into a chasm of distrust. Canada Day was supposed to be uneventful. I was visiting my family, enjoying their company in the warm, July sun, while Taylor had a day full of appointments. She had been cagey about her schedule, but I didn't think much of it. After all, everyone deserves their privacy, right? I spent the day with my folks, their laughter and stories filling the hours. My phone, however, was a constant companion, an anxious habit formed from months of tension. I kept checking it, hoping for a message from Taylor. It wasn't that I needed constant contact, I just wanted a small touch point, a sign that everything was okay. As evening fell, and the sun dipped below the horizon, my phone buzzed. It was a text from Kelly, a colleague we both knew well. "Hey Alex, are you at the carnival too?" Her message was casual, but it sent a jolt through me. Carnival. The idea of Taylor at a carnival hadn't crossed my mind. I typed back quickly, trying to mask my confusion. "No, why?" There was a pause before Kelly replied, "Oh, I thought I saw Taylor there." Sorry if I got it wrong. My stomach dropped. The thought of Taylor being somewhere she hadn't mentioned twisted my insides. Why would she hide something like that? I tried to play it cool with Kelly, replying, "No worries, maybe she's just out for a bit," but my mind was racing. I needed to get to the bottom of this. Later that night, when I was finally back home, I sent Taylor a message, trying to sound casual. "Hey, how was your day? Did you do anything fun?" Her response was quick, a little too quick perhaps. "Just busy with appointments," she said. I felt a pang of frustration. She was sticking to her story. I pushed a bit further, keeping my tone light. "Any breaks, maybe a walk or something?" "Just a walk with my brother and mom," she replied. My heart sank. It wasn't just about where she had been. It was the fact that she had lied. I stared at her message, a mix of emotions boiling inside me. I wanted to confront her right then, but I knew I had to be smart about it. I needed to find out why she felt the need to hide things from me. The next few days were a blur of anxiety and overthinking. Every time I looked at Taylor, I saw a stranger. The trust that had once bound us was fraying, and I didn't know how to repair it. I kept replaying the conversation in my mind, looking for clues, trying to understand what had changed. We had always been so open with each other. We used to spend hours talking about our dreams, our fears, our pasts. It was that openness that had drawn me to her in the first place. But now, it seemed like those walls had been rebuilt, and I was on the outside. Taylor's family had recently come back into her life after a long period of estrangement. It was supposed to be a good thing. Reconnecting with family is supposed to be positive, right? But ever since they'd been around, Taylor had become more secretive, more distant. I started to wonder if they were influencing her somehow, pulling her away from me. It was a dark thought, and I hated myself for even considering it. But the lies were there, and I couldn't ignore them. I decided to confront Taylor, but I had to be careful. I didn't want to drag Kelly into this mess. She had asked to stay out of the drama, and I respected that. So, I waited until Taylor was in a good mood, hoping it would make the conversation easier. One evening, as we were watching Netflix, I turned to her. "Hey, can we talk?" I asked, trying to sound casual. Taylor looked at me, curiosity in her eyes. "Sure, what's up?" I took a deep breath, feeling my heart race. "I need to ask you something, and I want you to be honest with me. Were you at a carnival on Canada Day?" Her eyes widened for a moment, then she looked away. "No, I told you. I was with my brother and mom." I felt a pang of frustration. "Taylor, someone saw you there. Why are you lying to me?" She looked back at me, her expression shifting to one of annoyance. "Who told you that?" "It doesn't matter who," I said, trying to keep my voice steady. "What matters is that you weren't honest with me. Why? Taylor sighed and rubbed her temples. I didn't want to upset you, okay? You were with your family, and I didn't want to make you feel bad that I was out having fun. That's not the point, I replied, feeling my frustration grow. The point is you lied. You could have just told me you went out. I wouldn't have cared, but now I'm wondering what else you're lying about. She looked at me, her eyes softening. I'm sorry, Alex. I didn't mean to hurt you. I don't know, I guess I didn't think it was a big deal. But it is, I said, feeling the weight of the past few months pressing down on me. It is a big deal because it makes me question everything. I need to trust you, Taylor, and right now, I'm struggling to do that. She nodded slowly, tears welling up in her eyes. I understand. I promise I'll be more honest with you from now on. I wanted to believe her, I really did, but that seed of doubt was still there, whispering in my ear. I knew it would take time to rebuild the trust that had been broken, but I was willing to try. After all, I still loved her, and love, as they say, is worth fighting for. The days following our confrontation were tense. Taylor tried to be more open with me, but there was still a shadow over our relationship. I couldn't shake the feeling that she was hiding something, and it was eating away at me. Every time she said she was going out, a part of me wondered if she was really where she said she'd be. It was a constant, nagging doubt that I couldn't get rid of. I started to notice more things, little lies that didn't seem to make sense, inconsistencies in her stories. One evening, she said she was going to a friend's house, but when I called that friend later, she said Taylor hadn't been there. I felt like I was losing my mind, questioning everything, seeing betrayal in every corner. I knew I needed to talk to Taylor about it, but I was afraid. Afraid of what I might find out, afraid of losing her. One night, as we were lying in bed, I decided to bring it up again. Taylor, I need to ask you something. She looked at me, her eyes tired but patient. What is it? Why didn't you just tell me the truth, about the carnival, I mean? She sighed and sat up, her shoulders slumping. I didn't want to hurt you, Alex. I know things have been rough between us lately, and I guess I just wanted to avoid another argument. I sat up beside her, taking her hand in mine. I appreciate that, but lying only makes things worse. I need to trust you, and right now, I'm finding it hard to do that. She looked down at our intertwined hands, a tear rolling down her cheek. I'm so sorry. I promise I'll do better. I don't want to lose you. Her words touched my heart, but that nagging doubt was still there. Could I really trust her again, or was this just the beginning of more lies? As the days turned into weeks, we worked on rebuilding our trust. It wasn't easy, and there were moments when I doubted if we could make it. But every time I looked into Taylor's eyes, I saw a glimmer of the honesty and love that had drawn me to her in the first place. Eventually, we found a new rhythm. Taylor started sharing more with me, and I tried to be more understanding. We had our ups and downs, but we were moving forward. The road to trust was long and winding, but we were walking it together. But trust, I learned, is a fragile thing. It can be shattered by a single lie, and once broken, it's a hard road to mend. Every time Taylor went out, a small part of me wondered if she was really where she said she'd be. Every time she came home late, I felt a twinge of anxiety. It was exhausting, constantly battling those thoughts, but I was determined to give her the benefit of the doubt. We tried to get back to the way things were. We went out more, had more date nights, tried to reignite the spark that had dimmed over the past months. But there was always that shadow, lurking in the background. I could see it in Taylor's eyes too. She was trying, but there was a distance between us that hadn't been there before. One evening, as we were walking home from a dinner out, I decided to lay it all out. Taylor, I need to ask you something serious. She looked at me, a hint of worrying in her eyes. What's wrong? I took a deep breath, trying to find the right words. Do you really want this to work, I mean? She stopped walking and turned to face me, her expression serious. Of course I do, Alex. Why would you even ask that? Because sometimes it feels like you're not really here, I said, my voice cracking. Like you're hiding something, Or maybe you're just not as invested as you used to be. I need to know if you're all in, because I am. But I can't keep doing this if you're not. Taylor's eyes filled with tears, and she took my hands in hers. I am all in, Alex. I know I've made mistakes, and I know I've hurt you. But I want us to work. I really do. I need you to trust me. I want to trust you, I said, my voice barely above a whisper, but it's hard. Every time I think we're getting back on track, something happens that makes me doubt you. I don't know how to fix that. We'll fix it together, she said, her grip tightening on my hands. I promise. No more lies, no more hiding. I'll be completely honest with you from now on. Her words were a balm to my wounded heart, but I knew it would take time for the scars to heal. Trust isn't something you can just rebuild overnight. It takes effort, patience, and a lot of faith in each other. But standing there, under the streetlights, holding Taylor's hands, I felt a glimmer of hope. We had a long road ahead, but for the first time in months, I felt like we were on the right path. The following weeks were a test of our resolve. Taylor made a concerted effort to be more open with me, and I tried to give her the space to rebuild my trust. It wasn't easy. There were moments of doubt, times when old fears resurfaced, but we faced them together. We talked more, shared more, and slowly, the walls that had grown between us started to come down. One night, as we lay in bed, Taylor turned to me, a serious look in her eyes. I've been thinking a lot about us, she said, and I want to make a fresh start. I know we can't erase the past, but we can try to build something new from here. What do you think? I looked into her eyes, seeing the sincerity there. I think that sounds like a good idea, I said, smiling. A fresh start. I like that. And so, we began to rebuild. It wasn't perfect, and there were still challenges to face, but we were doing it together. We took small steps, day by day, rebuilding the trust that had been broken. It was a slow process, but each step brought us closer, made us stronger. In the end, I realized that trust is a journey, not a destination. It's something you build, brick by brick, through honesty, openness, and a lot of patience. Taylor and I weren't the same people we were before the lies and the doubt, but maybe that was a good thing. We had learned, grown, and come out stronger on the other side. Our love, like that roller coaster, had its ups and downs. But we held on tight, through the twists and turns, the moments of fear and doubt, and we came out the other side, hand in hand, ready to face whatever came next. And as we stood together, looking forward to our future, I knew that as long as we had each other, we could overcome anything.